Good morning. My name is Dan Murphy. I'm a criminal defense lawyer out of Edmonton, Alberta. Today, I wanted to discuss the case of the Crown v. Roger Bilodeau and Anthony Bilodeau. Basically, the facts of the case are as follows. Roger owned a rural property. He noticed a truck with headlights outside of his property. His suggestion was that as a result of the uptick in rural crime, he decided to follow the trucks. He pursued the truck of the victims, who would be Jacob Sampson and a Maurice Cardinal, both from the Métis Nation. At that point, he would chase them at a speed of 150 kilometers an hour. No police at any point were ever called. The father, Roger, essentially cut off the two Métis gentlemen, Mr. Sampson and Mr. Cardinal, and then tried to run over the driver as he exited his vehicle. At that point, he had called his son, his eldest son, Anthony Bilodeau, told him to bring a gun to defend themselves. While it was stated that Anthony believed his father was under attack, there was gas station or gas plant video which showed that they were indeed not under attack, and the killing was not only one shot but a number of shots, even one at execution range, to effectively neutralize the victims. And it was determined the victims were doing nothing of the sort. They weren't thieves. They were essentially, they'd been hunting moose for the day. And why they had stopped or why they were idling outside of this property, it wasn't criminal in nature. And while the Bilodeaus would argue self-defense, the jury would not accept this argument. The Crown prosecutor pointed out that no police were called. They had no sense of police response time, and they basically took justice into their own hands. It was a question of whether this was vigilante justice in reaction to rural crime, was it based out of anger, and it was found that, yes, this self-defense didn't apply. It was disproportionate. If you look at self-defense, the individuals who they were pursuing were trying to escape. They had not committed a crime and were looking to escape the pursuers. So the fact that they had to chase them at 150 kilometers speaks to this. They left the bodies of Mr. Sampson and Mr. Cardinal in the roadway where they were found the next day. Inexplicably, Anthony Bilodeau broke down the rifle and melted it down so that it would never be found. Again, indicative of somebody trying to hide something or someone who had concerns for the actions they had taken. And as I say, these turned out to be hunters, not thieves. There's a tremendous divide between the Métis community in this area and the rural farmers. The suggestion is that rural crime is another term for indigenous crime, which is completely unacceptable and ridiculous. At that point, Roger Bilodeau was sentenced to manslaughter, sentenced on a manslaughter charge. He'll serve 10 years in a federal penitentiary. His son, Anthony Bilodeau, was convicted of second-degree murder, to which he will receive a life sentence. The justice decided he will not be eligible for parole for 13 years, despite defense requests that he be eligible at the minimum time of 10 years. And the case will continue as the lawyer for the Bilodeau, one of the Bilodeau family members has indicated that there will be an appeal, that this case begs for an appeal, and he suggests this will go all the way to the Supreme Court of Canada. Whether that's the case or not, no one can determine that. But what's very clear is that self-defense does not allow for pursuit of individuals, gunning them down, executing them at the side of the road and leaving their bodies for passerbys to find. This was a a horrific incident. It left the families of Mr. Sampson and Mr. Cardinal without important individuals for themselves and also their community, as they were considered individuals who taught community values in the Métis group, and they also were loved by their family members who described them as not violent people but loving people. And so that's an example of where a self-defense argument essentially falls flat, and luckily there was video surveillance which showed the incident, as without that the witnesses are silenced because they've been killed, and you would have only had the explanation of a Roger and Anthony Bilodeau, which would have been inaccurate after watching the video. Again, a tragedy. The sentencing is complete, and now it's a question of where we go from here with the appeal. I'll watch closely and update the audience as this matter goes forward. But again, just tragic, and hopefully this type of action won't be taken again, and police will be called, and these issues averted. All right, thank you. That's all I have to say for today. I hope all is well. Everybody have a great week.